Deal with stress, I meditate in silence, and out the way, and I survive the violence. Cruising down the street, driving in the bucket, don't even know the mileage. It don't matter, I'm just out here riding. Enjoy your life, tomorrow is a promise. Man, I couldn't pick a better time, and then I say, let's just start. Come on, come on, yeah, yeah.
Vibe Show 97.9. Happy Sunday to everybody. Listen, I know I'm smiling because I am super happy. I've been happy all week, just floating on this amazing cloud. This is just a blessed day for me. I'm super excited. And I have an amazing guest joining us on the show tonight. Y'all already know, I know y'all excited. I'm not going to tell you until we come back. So y'all make sure y'all keep it locked in. Get your popcorn, get your little drinks together or whatever you do or whatever. But don't touch the dial. Keep it locked in. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. Ooh. Yep, Vibe Show 97.9. I'm your host, Kano the Don, the Vibe King, home of the most amazing guest on the planet. And tonight we have a queen. I am super honored. Listen, when we want to talk about legends, this queen has to be mentioned. Singing has to be mentioned. Has blessed us for so many years with such an amazing golden voice. It's just an absolute honor, and I'm just so super excited. I'm talking about the queen, Broadway's original dream girl, Tony and two-time Grammy Award winner, the very beautiful Jennifer Holliday.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Hey. Thank you.
Oh my God. Man, this is just so amazing. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule just to come on the show and just bless it with your presence. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you for the invitation. I really appreciate that.
It's an absolute honor. Like it really is. You look amazing. Where's the fountain of youth at? Please show.
Thank you. I'll be 62 years old in October. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Wow, you look amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
I'll be 62, and believe it or not, Dreamgirls was 40 years ago last year. So yeah.
Wow. Now, I had an opportunity just to really just dig into your story, and it just was amazing. You're originally from Houston, Texas.
Born and raised
in Houston, Texas. Wow. Now, we got a lot of things to cover here. You started your career very young. Would you say in your teens, or you've been singing before your teens?
Well, I actually started as a professional singer at age 18 with my first show called Your Arms Too Short to Box of God. Prior to that, I know no one wants to hear it, but I didn't really try to be a professional singer. That was not my
Really?
intention. No, 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 no. I sang in the church choir, of course, raised in the church choir. And my mother also sang in the choir. And so I just, I don't know. I enjoyed it for what that was. And I was discovered singing in the church choir at the Pleasant Grove Baptist Church in Fifth Ward in Houston, Texas. And because that church was one of the first, mega churches back then. And so a young man by the name of Jamie Patterson, he was playing in a musical called Cats at the music hall, and he
Right.
wanted to go to church before a Sunday matinee. And they told him, they said, well, you need to go, to Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. And so they brought him there, and I was singing, and he came up to me afterwards. He says, you have such a great big voice. It would
Yes.
work wonderful on Broadway. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever, And so
Right.
I didn't think about it. And then about 3 or 4 months later, he gives me a call, and he said, listen, there's this show called Your Arms Too Short to Box with God, and it's going to be doing a revival, and there's a perfect role in it for you. And I was like, well, I said, I don't know, you have to ask my mother, because I'm
Right.
a teenager. I'm not, it's like I'm not grown yet, And
Right.
so anyway, so that's how that started.
Wow. So, and having that big voice like that, did mom have the big voice as well?
Actually, no, she had a beautiful, sweet, what they call lyric soprano. She had, more of like an opera type soprano. And it was very, a beautiful as well, but not as, not as big as mine, but, definitely a beautiful singing voice as well.
Now, going from that to, being in the church singing, of course, around the church members and people that you're familiar with. Now we're going to this Broadway situation. Talk to me about that transition at a young age like that, to a different type of stage.
Yeah, that was very difficult, I must admit, because I had made friends, and from high school as well as from the church choir.
Right.
Now, in church, though, I did sing with the adult choir, because they were also always having me, lead a song of everything. But
Right.
I felt that I had a good, friendship with people. And V. Michael McKay, who is a famous gospel songwriter now, was the choir director back then. And he and my best friend, her name was Vanessa Brandon White. And so they did come to see me for my opening for Hartford, Connecticut, for Your Arms Too Short to Box. But after that, nobody else ever got a chance to come and see me, because they were working or getting their own lives. So it made it a little lonely, for me, in terms of having to make new friends, having to adjust also to a different form of Broadway, doing 8 shows a week and traveling. And so it had a lot of mixed bag of things.
Right, right. And with with that's a form of, the entertainment business, of course. And being young, was there any resistance like from your parents? Because you hear a lot of things about the business and being so young, and then being a young woman, going into that space like that. Was there any conversations as far as from, any kind of resistance from your family or in any way?
Well, the only thing that my mother was concerned about was when the young man approached me, he was saying, well, you need to come to New York and stuff like that. And my mother was like, okay, I'm not letting my child go with some
Right.
man off to New York. I mean, just on you telling me what this is. So he had an aunt who lived in Brooklyn, New York, who was saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost.
Right.
So she talked to my mother, and I don't know what they talked about. And after that, she let me come up to go to New York to audition for Box with God. Then when I told her, I said, well, they want me to do this. And basically she said, well, I have raised you, and I feel that, it should be what you want to do if you want to try it. And she said, and you're young enough that if you don't like it, you can always come home and go to college,
Right.
So it was kind of like she felt that, as a parent, she had done, I'm 18 at this point, and she's like, okay, well, you have been raised, and I feel I've done, instilled in you all of the values that we have. And I expect you to, conduct yourself in that manner and to go from there. So that's how I was able to, to go. There wasn't really, she was very, very supportive,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, of course, Dreamgirls come, and this takes it to another stratosphere. Talk to me about, the creation of the song, the origin of that, though, because it was a career changer for you in your career with singing that song, putting that together. Talk to me about that moment, though.
Well, Dreamgirls was like a creation to where Your Arms Too Short to Box with God. I stepped into a show that had already been on Broadway before. So I was playing a role that someone else had portrayed before me, and originated the role. So with Dreamgirls, I was stepping into like a creative process where they were still writing and forming of Dreamgirls. In fact, it wasn't even called Dreamgirls while we were working on it. No, it was called lots of different names with the word dreams in it, but they were just trying to work on it. And on Broadway, what they call a workshop process, as with The Color Purple had a workshop process, others that do. So what you do is you write, you create, you get a couple of years to do something. Right. So that's how we were doing with Dreamgirls. So I was working in the daytime from 10 to 6 on we were creating Dreamgirls, and in the evenings I was working on Your Arms Too Short to Box with God. So Cleavant Derricks, who played James Thunder Early, both of us did that. And so with my role, it was kind of like, okay, well, they're fixing the song, and the song was pretty much already almost finished. But when I came along, then they were able to go, okay, what is Jennifer singing? Now, I didn't know anything about creating songs, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I did know about, singing in church and just letting yourself be free and letting yourself go. So basically they were just like, well, sing it like you would sing it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the only reference that I did have was just singing in church, just kind of, letting myself go and go where the song would go. And then now the creation of the part where I hold the note and sing stuff in the middle, I got that from Barbara Streisand. They had taught me about theater through listening to a lot of her old movies through VHS. So I had never heard anybody hold a note that long. So I was like, well, I want to hold a note like that too. I was like, what can I do? So I was able to incorporate that part into, and I'm telling you, I'm not going, of just holding a note and how that emotion would come through. So I kind of was just doing something out from my soul, from my gut, because I had no other experience, to know that.
That, that's just so amazing to hear, because, I just think that it is important for people to just understand that, because the way music is today, from the past time, I think that with you coming from the church background and always singing from the soul and from
Right.
within, I think that really played a major role in pretty much everything that you blessed us with as well, because I feel like all of your music was sung from that space.
Thank you. Yes, I just tried to have a honest, sincere approach, to my songs, to everything that I've sung, because that's all I would know, not having any kind of formal training or anything like that. That's all I could really do.
Right. So, now your catalog, is absolutely just phenomenal.
Oh,
Like
thank you.
it's phenomenal. And I know that it's something that you're very, very proud of. But
It's a small catalog because I actually technically only have 6 albums, which is not a lot. But because my career has mostly been in theater, I've always
Mhm.
been in a show or something, and that's always taken the priority over the recording career.
Right. But those songs, though, the impact of it, though, how it impacted us, the fans, and everybody who fell in love with Jennifer Holliday, like from a mental aspect, though, just at this point in life now, just still seeing your music just so alive still, and people still gravitating, young, old, in the mid. How does that make you feel, though? Do you ever get time to look back at it and just really embrace it, like, wow, like this is just, it's still going?
Well, I don't know if I look back that far, but as I am present, it has been quite amazing because of social media and Google and YouTube and things. I've really been rediscovered,
Mm,
and it's kind of like, although I haven't had any lots of albums or any of things like that, it's almost like I've been rediscovered. And I feel that way too, especially during the pandemic, because
right.
music lifted so many people, because there were so many hours spent alone and so many hours of just people, of us watching documentaries and doing
Right.
all kind of stuff,
Right.
and through that time, I feel that the search for just more meaningful music, I feel that I fell in that category some way,
Absolutely.
and that young people discovered me, and then my old faithful fans rediscovered me.
Hmm.
So it's been, I can't even tell you how exciting that it is for me right now. Like I said, at this point, I'm 61 years old, and I'm looking forward to, like, just having a whole new career. I don't know what it will be composed of, because I don't have that kind of plans, and I don't have a
Right.
manager or agent or anybody, so it's still just me by myself. But as I look forward to my future, to know that I have one, to know that I'm relevant, to know that I'm loved, to know that my music is appreciated, it's like, no, I'm present. I ain't looking back at nothing. I'm not looking over anything or trying
Right.
to kind of re kind of reassess or anything like that. It's just like I'm just trying to be in this moment and
Yes.
embrace it and get as much as I can. And in July, it will be the 40th anniversary of And I'm Telling You going to #1 on the
Mm.
R&B charts. So this is it's quite exciting. It just really is. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any great plans or anything like that. A whole list of things that I can announce for you,
Right.
but the fact that that you have uh, open arms to the universe, to the world, and to just whatever may come your way. I think I'm just open and excited, and that's kind of how what happened with the Masked Singer when I was on the Masked Singer a couple of weeks ago.
How did that happen? How did that happen? I was going to ask you about that too, because I was just you got me. I did not know, but I fell in love with Miss Teddy, and I'm just trying to just stamp this voice, and I'm like, you got all of us. I really do think that you did. Can you kind of give me the rundown of how that even came about?
Yeah, well, a friend of mine and David Foster, who not only produced the Dreamgirls soundtrack, and I'm telling you, but he also wrote "I Am Love," which Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire co-wrote and produced.
Wow.
And so he gives me a call one night, very late, and he says, "Jennifer," he said, "they call me. They looking for you on the Masked Singer. They would be to know if you would be interested in being on that." And he says, "Well, I can tell you that it's a lot more fun than you think." He said, "And they are really good musicians. They all this some of these people are my friends, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, okay, well, yeah, let me talk to them and see what was going on." So, I talked to them, and I did, feel comfortable going on. And so, yeah, so that's just how that happened. Because like I told you, I don't have a manager or agent right now. And so a lot of things that I get are just from people either calling me directly or calling me from someone who knows me. So that's
Right.
basically that's the only way you can kind of get to me right now. And so so I went on, and what you do is you pick all your songs as if you go, even though I didn't win or go to the final rounds. You pick all your songs prior to, just in case you are going to go on, and then that way they can start getting, get them arranged, get your keys, what you like, add background, get the music track together, make sure you like the music track. So it's a very intricate process, and a very well done, process, just like excellent musicians, excellent singing. I mean, the whole thing is just really top notch. I was really very, very impressed, even though the
Right.
judges, it's like, what is wrong with you?
I was upset.
I wanted to take off my hat for a minute and go, what's wrong with y'all?
I was upset. A lot of
Like,
people, we had a little back and forth on email, text, and all of that. I was upset. I
I
really
was like, come on, what is the deal? But I enjoyed it, and also, and even though, I didn't get a chance to go to the finals, it was fine. I did enjoy myself, and it was a new experience, and one that I had never even contemplated doing before. So I was very excited.
Right, absolutely. Now, can I read you something
Sure.
that you said that really it touched me, and it really it kind of shaped my vision a little bit, gave me something to really think about for myself.
Okay.
And you said who am I now? I'm not the person I used to be. Now I live in today. My life is brand new. My joy is brand new. My actions are brand new. My words are brand new. My song is brand new. I really, really felt that. Can you, like, you know, and can you just break that down for me, like you were feeling in that moment when you put those words out there for the world? Like, because a lot of people, I needed to hear that, you know?
Well, I think that I was really afraid of getting older.
Really?
I really was. And I wrote that because I was going to be 60. And so I was afraid of getting older. I was afraid of being put out to the side, and I
Right.
was afraid of being forgotten. And then I don't know, once I saw that I had another opportunity,
Right.
a third act, if you would say, in my life and new wings for my career, I just got excited in the sense of saying, okay, that's what I was telling you. I only want to embrace today, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We can do yesterday, of course, so we can have reference, so we can have source, so we can build from that. But I need to embrace these moments. So that's why I said I'm not the same. That's why for me to do a mass singer where I would be like, that is just too silly for me to do.
Right.
It was like, okay, I'm gonna see how being silly feels.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It's like things that I would not have embraced before,
Right.
that I look at it, you know, with a newness, that I do want to live in this moment. And since as we now so know that tomorrow is just not promised, it even
Right.
the same day we wake up is not even promised. It's like we can wake up, everything can be fine, and by 3 o'clock, you know, we're gone, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So life is so fleeting, and a lot of dreams that I had, things that I wanted to do, all of those, so many things did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could have looked at it and say, oh, you know, you're going to be 60. You didn't get a chance to do this. You didn't do that. This didn't happen in your career. That, blah, 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 blah. This, you know, didn't work out in your relationship, da, da, da. You know, all these kind of things. Like I have no
Mm-hmm.
children. And at one time I was kind of looking, I was like, why don't I have, what happened? Why don't I have children? You know, all of these kind of things where you just kind of beat yourself down, you know,
Right.
about reasons why you shouldn't have a full life or why living isn't worth it, whatever. And so I had to reverse. So that's why I said that everything had to be brand new so that you can keep moving forward. And I think that that's also when people come to hear me sing and they get to hear me sing live,
Mm-hmm.
and they hear it and I'm telling you, either for the first time or if they've seen me many times, they can never say, I saw her and she just walks through the song. It's not.
Right.
Each time I still make it as if it were a first time, because I understand now that, you know, what if that's the last time I'm singing it? But also, what if this is the first time that someone has even heard of me? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that also happened before the pandemic and even through the pandemic, that I got new fans from all over the world who,
Right.
like I said, this new discovery, this new thing. And so for me, I just want to embrace life more, regardless of whether it's perfect or not, regardless of whether everything on my list that I had dreamt of, or my list of desires or wants or whatever, any of it, I just, you know, I just said, I, I can't do it. I have to make sure that the moment that I'm present. And that's why I said it's brand new, because we have to look at it like, you know, tomorrow, you know, isn't promised, but if we do make tomorrow, how do we make that count? You know, even if
Mm-hmm.
even if we're only alive a few hours on that day, how do we make that count? How do we make it brand new? How do we make it a worthwhile experience, you know?
I love that. I really, really love that. You know, another thing too, and I got an email in from somebody from Nebraska, and she wanted to know, she said you look amazing.
Oh,
And
thank you.
and she wanted to know, because reading your story, you know, she suffers with, she's overweight,
Okay.
and she is trying to deal with that. And I know you went through that. You struggled with you know, weight issues, and going through depression as well, but found a way um to get that under control, to tap into eating healthier and getting your weight down. Can you kind of talk to me about that a little bit? Because like I said, and ways that you've been maintaining it throughout the years as well.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, to deal with the depression,
Yes, ma'am.
I had suffered greatly with clinical depression throughout my entire career,
Really?
and still suffered with it. Even I would say, even as of recent, maybe the last 10 years, but without having to have like medication or
Mm,
things like that. And so back then, when I was in Dreamgirls and I was dealing with the depression and loneliness, food was my only source of comfort and my friend and in my loneliness.
right.
Because here I was, a young woman, a young lady, on Broadway, only 21 years old, a star, having to do 8 shows a week, only one show, only one day off. It didn't make it for you to be able to make any new friends. You know, it
Right.
wasn't like now where we could have been texting or emailing or whatever, because I don't even think email was back then. You know, I
Right.
think it was just either starting or something. And so, and even like I said, with texting, because I was always preserving my voice, so I wouldn't be like on the telephone. And even to this day, I don't talk on the telephone a lot, you know, just to preserve my voice. So a lot of that had added to my depression. And the more I gained weight, that added to my depression because it made me even more sadder. And so, you know, I feel that my career suffered a great deal because of my weight. It's not like today where, you know, it kind of doesn't affect the same way. But back then, in the 80s, you know, they were just going into videos and MTV and all this kind of stuff. So image and all of that stuff was very important, and definitely an overweight person was just not acceptable back then.
Right.
Music and TV and that sort of thing. So, so, uh, so it was many years until I was able to get, you know, to get some help. And basically, it was like I had to, you know, try to commit suicide to get some help. And it was not because I just didn't know everything that was going on to me, and I didn't know how to begin to talk about it. Because
Right.
even though we're just now beginning to talk about it, then all of those years, especially in the Black community, you didn't talk about it because a lot of people would just say, you know, Christians don't get depressed. Baby,
Right.
just pray about it. Just pray about it, and you know, and this kind of thing. And so it was just a lot of mixed emotions in my head and thoughts and things like that. So it wasn't until that I was 30 that I was able to begin to get some help, because that's when I tried to commit suicide. And one of the things that the doctor asked me, said, well, if you could change one thing, what do you think that's making you the most sad? I said, my weight. I can't stop gaining weight. I think I'm going to, you know, become too big. And I kept saying, you know, nobody loves me, and nobody, you know, all these kind of things that I was just saying, oh, my weight, my weight, my weight. And then when I lost the weight, I had one of the first people to have a gastric bypass, one of the first celebrities. And when I
Really?
lost, yeah, and so when I lost the weight, we still had a lot of the same issues. So it's kind of like,
Really?
yeah, because a lot of things that bother us, we contribute to certain things that are not there. So even though I was gaining weight, it was not the whole reason, you know. So you have to So that's why therapy is so important. That's why, seeing a psychotherapist or even a licensed clinical social worker, which those are the insurance covers, or a lot of those people work for less money, someone to talk to kind of sort things out really helps. So once I was able to get clearer with that, and then I was able to control my weight, because I the other problem, and I'll say this, and I know we don't want to stay too long on this, but one of the other problems when I lost weight, and that's why I said issues come up that you didn't even realize. So at first I thought people didn't love me because I was overweight, but then when I lost weight, the people who I thought at least cared about me became upset with me, because a lot of people loved me, wanted the weight because they have issues. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
So you have to really begin to understand who you are, what it is that what your purpose is in life, what you want out of life, because a lot of people, unbeknownst to them, will sabotage your weight loss because of what it does for them. You being sad, you being overweight, some people like that for them because it makes them important, makes them need you, you need them, so they feel needed. So a lot of things I had to put in perspective. It made me a lot less trusting of people, though, because it would be like, okay, if you let somebody do something for you, then what do they want after this? You know what I'm saying? Or do they really love you? Do they really care? Are they really there for you? Which show business does that anyway. And show business will, make you become very untrusting of everyone, your own family, everybody. But when you start to just put things in perspective with life. So once I began to get all of that, and I had contemplating putting some of the weight back on, because I said, well, I guess if I put some of the weight back on, that'll make a lot of people happier. And then those, I wasn't, nah, I like these clothes. I was like, no, I like these clothes. I ain't putting the weight back on. I'm going shopping. Now, anybody who mad at me gonna stay mad at me, because I am not putting this weight back on. It's like I like the way that I look, and I especially love clothes. So I was like, I love clothes. And so once you kind of can understand all of that, understand first and foremost who you are and what you want out of life and what your purpose is, then I think you can put all the other relationships in place, because your family can depress you, your friends can depress you, all of it, because you're trying so hard to be everything to everybody, or please them, or make them love you, and it just becomes some of it becomes a useless task, because it's kind of like, okay, I already did this, I did that, I apologize, I did whatever, and you still want me to do this or whatever like that. So that's just, so we have to understand about relationships, friendships, family, all of these kind of things that can make ourselves whole, and our boundaries of what we're willing to do. And you have to protect your mind, guard your heart, because like I said, people can hurt you unintentionally. Family can hurt you unintentionally, friends, your spouses, your partners, everyone can do that. So you have to understand how you're going to let that affect you. How we have to put all of that in perspective, and and have to say, okay, do I really want to kind of deal with this right now? It's like, no, I can't, because I keep telling them that this is not the issue, and they're saying this and whatever. So how do we balance this? Because some things we do need to work on ourselves for, you know what I'm saying? So we have to have accountability, like, yes, I'm selfish, yes, I'm this, yes, but some other stuff ain't on us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you do your work too. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be always, I'm the one that's wrong or whatever. And everything that about us we can't change everything about us, then we're not who we were uniquely made to be.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
that's why we sometimes, if we know that that person is a Virgo and they potentially extra neat, that's them. You can't
Mhm.
go around throwing stuff on the floor and don't
That's right.
expect them to get mad.
That's
Okay,
right. That's
pick
right.
up your stuff.
That's
A
right.
Virgo gonna be like, I can't take this. You
Right.
gonna have to clean this up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like certain things that are unique to people should be accepted on both sides. We shouldn't have to change every aspect of ourselves to make family love us, friends love us, spouses love us, whatever. If they can't, then you have to go to the next group of people, the next
Right.
spouse, the next lover, the next whatever, because we can't change all of who we are. Some things we can change, some things we can acknowledge and say, okay, I need to be better at this, I need to be better at that. But some stuff we should like about ourselves. It's like, yeah, I'm OCDC, pick up this stuff. Pick this
Right.
up. I'm so and so, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know how I am. Some people know how you are and will still mess with you. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, that was gonna make me mad.
That's right.
Why you do that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to understand how we can control ourselves, and not that adds to depression or weight, but it does add to how we feel about ourselves, which could make us depressed, which could make us sad, which could make us lonely. All of these things, if we don't look at our whole situation who's around us, and even if it's, if our job, if you can't change your job now, you can still hope to do that if it's not bringing you some joy, or some satisfaction. And I think that's what a lot of people realized during the pandemic too. That's why a
Right.
lot of people didn't even go back to their job, tried to find others, and not everyone can afford to do that, or have, or should, take such a courageous step without having some kind of backup plan. But a lot of these things bring us down and add to, what is going on with us. That's why we have to just check in with ourselves, see how we're doing, and if we need some help, then we should go seek some professional help. Not to stay forever, not to be
Right.
committed to a hospital, not anything like that, but just to go and just see, have somebody ask us some questions, things we haven't thought about. Sometimes reading one book can change our whole lives, So, somebody can recommend a great book for us to read. And then reading that one book could change our lives. So sometimes it's not just about, you know, going to see a therapist on a continuous basis or something like that. But also, especially in relationships, sometimes if you don't want to do couple counseling, you can still go, because the thing is, what I found from counseling and getting in there is that it does help us understand other people, not only ourselves, but understand how
Mhm.
people react to certain things. It makes you think. It's like, well, did you ever think that what you said to that person, maybe you could have communicated better, or maybe you could have da da da, whatever. Or how do we talk to people, or how do we say what we want to say, So all these, I know. I mean, we don't have a 2-hour show here, but what I'm just saying is that a lot of the reasons why when people look at me and they go, "Oh my gosh, she looks so good, she's so happy," so
Right.
it's not that everything is right in my life. It's that I have chosen where to put everything. If
Mm.
someone hurts me, or if something happens, I get disappointment, which, in my business, you get a lot of no's or rejection, or in personal life, we get a lot of rejection. Where do we put that? You know what I'm saying? So if that person rejecting us, and I would just say this right quick. So sometimes, so say we're dating, and you date somebody, and then you look at that person and you go, "Oh my God, they're just such a great catch," and blah 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 blah.
Right. Right.
And then you think about yourself and you go, "Huh, now why would they want somebody like me?" Not to put yourself down, but then so one time I went out with this guy and I was like, I kept saying to myself, I said, "Jennifer, he doesn't like your type. You can tell by who he's looking at. But I wanted to convince myself that this can work. I'm like, and not that to take it personal or not to be mad at him. So that's why I said we have to figure out our part in what we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going after someone that's not, you already know he's not your type, but
Right.
he's trying to try something different. You trying to try that. It's only gonna work for a few minutes because you can already see he looking at somebody that's not your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you think we overlook the flags though? Why do you think we overlook the flags? Because like you said, you know, and I think that's real valid that you just said that. Why do we do? Is it a need? Is it a need that we just desire the need for being wanted, and whether we know this person don't really want to be with us or not, or what do you think it is?
Well, it is our desperation in a sense to not be left alone. See, the thing about it, which I think the pandemic taught us as well, is a lot of us can't be alone with ourselves.
Right.
We can't even be alone, even if it's with the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? So in our search for love, I feel that we will accept less than we deserve, and we'll also just go with the wrong thing in the fear that we won't end up being alone. Not that we won't end up being loved, because in our back of our mind, we've already settled that we can't have love. See, we've already made up our minds to say, okay, love is the thing, but if I can just have somebody with me, you know?
Oh,
you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like if I can just have somebody with me,
That's deep.
they don't really have to love me. And I said, see, the pandemic taught people that too. That's why a lot of people came out divorced or broke up or whatever, because it was like, I don't even like you. You know, they came home, they had to be a home mother. They were like, I don't even like you. What happened? But because they could stay gone all day and call and say, I'm not going to be home for dinner, and only come in time, home in time to take a shower and go to bed or whatever they do before they go to bed. They had already gotten away from just saying, okay, this is not the ideal situation, but this is where I am. So before the pandemic, we could fill our days and fill our hours and only go home to change and not make for dinner or not have conversation with each other but then when the pandemic came, it was like, oh, okay, so I got to go home. Yeah, you got to go home. You can't even go to the other woman's house because you might get okay. You can't even go to the other girl's house.
Right.
You might bring COVID home, and it's worse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like a condom can't fix this one. You know? You know what I'm saying? So it becomes that kind of thing. And I think one of our other problems is our misplaced demands for love, our misunderstanding that everyone must love us because that's a right, or something like that. Right. No one has to love us. You know what I'm saying? That's just not a given. No one has to love us. So we can't make people love us or accept us for who we are. What we should be able to do is recognize sooner. You know what I'm saying? And when people don't love us, and I'm gonna step out on a thing and get in trouble. It's kind of like with Will Smith and Jada. You got Jada don't love you. I don't know how many times.
Right.
Dude. Yeah. But where does that come from? We don't know. Maybe his mother didn't know. I don't know his whole story from reading the book. I've got to finish reading the book. But the thing is, something has to happen. And unfortunately, something where you just mess everything up and everything explodes before you can realize something. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn quickly, be like, okay, he ain't into you. He like you.
Right.
He can do this. but don't make him do this. He not really into this. Don't make him guilty. Don't make him like he's a bad person because he loves you. Don't make it whatever. You know, yes, we can be misled, you know, by people, or we can be hurt by people. Those things are obvious. But some of the other stuff, we don't even want to see it. We be like, yeah, but I think I'm gonna get him. I think he gonna change. I think I can fit. It's like
I can change him.
I think I can change him. I think I think he can feel me. I think it's coming. It's like, no, it's not. It's not. Look at him. He not, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's just not even something that is that what you want? You know what I'm saying? You know, so we don't have to make anyone, we can't demand love, and we can't demand people to accept us for what we are if they're not there, if their heart does not really sincerely go there. We can't do that, and we can't make people feel guilty if they don't feel that. You know what I'm saying? We can't make people
we do
bad.
that a lot. We do that a lot.
That they're bad people because they didn't love you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, how do we put all of that in its proper perspective? You know, and unfortunately today too, with online dating and stuff, we want to get there really quicker. We want to go. I don't know if you've ever seen these shows like the dating shows, the 90 Day Fiancé, and then all these kind of things. Then you really realize people's desperation, because you're going, okay, I don't care what y'all said online the last 2 years before you met in person. Now you meet in person, you all are not right for each other. But that determination, they're like, okay, but we've been talking for 2 years. This won't work.
We got to make this work.
We got to make this work. We on TV. We on ... You know what I'm saying? And it becomes a whole thing of where it's our, like I said, it's misplaced demands, and where nobody's at fault, but no one wants to let it go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No one wants to let it go. So I just think that if we can get into that at some point, that's why I said go to therapy your own self. Even if you're in a relationship and you think you're having somebody, go yourself, because that way you can at least understand what you are. And then you can maybe even get a perspective on where the other person is by some of the questions that'll be asked to you.
Right.
Questions asked to you about yourself, and questions asked to you about your partner, your spouse, of where you want to go, you know. So anyway, that's just my own look. And you know, it's I don't know, at this age with me dating, it's very nice because I do know exactly, you know, who I am, what I want. You know, my only thing is my cutoff limit of how young I want to go, and that's all I am right now.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of, okay, you too young.
Right.
You over there are not. Okay.
How does it make you feel? But how does it make you feel though? Still getting those looks though from the youngsters though.
It's nice. Yes, it's very nice. And yeah, it's very nice. And a lot of my friends always tell me, they say, why do you have to tell them how old you are? Because I do. I would go, okay, first of all, I want you to know how old I am. They're like, why you tell them? Because they can Google it, number one.
Right. Right. Just being transparent. Let's be fully transparent.
Just say, if you know what I'm saying? If you want to hang, you want to try it, we can try it. But okay, I am, you know, a little bit older than you. Just want you to know, you know. Right. And you know, so
I love you. I just love you. You just like, I think that's what the problem is though. So I want to, and this goes well with rolling into my next question. I wanted to ask you about So in Love, because I love that song. It's on repeat. I've been playing it. And then hearing you break all of these gems down, it kind of makes me wonder, collectively, with all this information, knowledge that you've gathered, learned about yourself, the experiences that you've been through throughout your amazing journey, the highs and lows, you know, was some of that, you know, a part of this song in a way?
I think that it was a part of the song because everybody kept saying, "Well, what's the backstory on So in Love?" And I said, "Well, actually, I wasn't in a relationship or involved with anyone when we were writing the song." I said my thing was that um, remembered what it was like to be in love. I wanted to experience that again, and I was able to do that. But I also wanted to be, transparent in the song. So that's why I talk about, how our insecurities can
Right.
also just defeat a relationship before it's even started. How we can make another person pay for the last person's,
Absolutely.
whatever, and how
Absolutely.
we are unwilling to let that go. And the kind of joy from that, and sometimes, that being in love feeling, for some people can last 6 months, or it can last a couple of years, depends on how you are, that's why I said, approaching this relationship. And
Mhm.
especially if you're looking for that relationship to save your life or to save you, then that's the wrong thing, period. So you should have some sense of who you are and what your life is like, and that you're just happy to be alive, number one. And then number two, if someone special comes along, that adds to your life. You know what I'm saying? Let us see, got a song, what can you add to me? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It's like not so much of what can you make better for me, because
Mhm.
then we're putting too much on a person before they even get started. They should
Right.
not be responsible for our happiness, but definitely not responsible for making us sad or hurting us. But they should not be responsible for our happiness.
Right.
We should be able to do that, and then we should be able to bring that to each other, our joy, or even if there is a sense of something, before we meet that person, that allows, they bring good out of us,
Mhm.
bring us to a different place and good. And even if they do that, they they still can't be responsible for taking it all the other way. You got to do the work too. So
Okay.
even if you meet someone and they bring you out of your shell, or they bring you a joy, or you still have to be responsible for the rest of it. So they can't come in every day and expect, it's kind of like, okay, well, he didn't do this today, so therefore he doesn't love me. No, you gotta go ahead and what's your part? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's kind of like, where as we are as a person, and even if we're working on ourselves, because we're all a work in progress. And like I said, even me, in my 60s now, still working on myself, still whatever, but also still appreciating that I like about myself too,
Mhm.
that may rub other people the wrong way, but whatever, be like, okay, well, I actually like this part about myself. So yeah, either you can hang with this one or not. And then some things like, okay, yeah, I could change that. I agree with that. Certain things. That's why I said, let's don't don't count your own self down where you have a whole list of people who, you met somebody and they got all of these lists of complaints about you. It's like, oh, okay, no, this is too bitty. I'm a good person. I'm lovable. I'm this. I like this about myself, whatever, like this. So take your list and go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
yeah, so.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Now the visual is super, super. I love it. I
Thank
love it. I
you.
love the dresses. How much of a role did you play in the visual on the song as well? Because I thought it was amazing. I liked how they had the camera, how it brought you up, you know, how you were into the camera like that, to be able to see the emotions, more of the emotions, and not a lot of the flash and all how these videos be now, but it really, really was intimate. And we can really see the emotion in the video to where you really could feel it. How much of a role did you play in that part of the visual aspect?
Well, when I was talking to the director, and who's actually quite a bit younger than me, and I was trying to, at first we were trying to think of all different ways to kind of go with it, but I was working on Masked Singer at the same time. So I was like, I do not have a lot of time to go and film all these different scenes, because I
Right.
have to be in California, because I was flying back and forth from Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in New York. I'm talking to you from New York now because I'm, working on a Broadway show. But at the time during Masked Singer, I was flying back and forth from Los Angeles to Atlanta. And so I was saying, I would like to put all of these scenes, where it was like a story or a little mini movie and stuff. I said, but I just really don't have time to make that kind of commitment. And so I said, maybe, whatever the most simplest thing that we could do that could still have
That impact.
impact and stuff. And so he basically was able to figure out how to film it and everything, because I had, looked at his whole list of things that he had done. And so so that's how we were putting it together. And we were kind of thinking about a little play on Dreamgirls. So that's why we all had the
I
same
love that.
gowns on.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why so that was the little wink and a nod, to Dreamgirl. That's why we all had the same gowns on. And then other than that, the rest of it was really, up to the director and how he wanted to shoot the camera and stuff. So basically he laid out, everything. And so it made it a lot easier for me to just be able to come in on the took us 2 days to shoot it, to film it. So it just, allowed me to be able to do that.
That's amazing. That's really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want, your legacy to be remembered as?
Well, I think that if I don't make it past this interview, then I think that my legacy, I would want it to be that I was a survivor, because having started at such a young age, especially, when Dreamgirls happened, I was only 21 years old.
Right.
And then there were many years where I had such a lull in my career where I did nothing. And then I was able to, wait all of that out and keep myself, in the forefront, to keep coming back, to keep fighting. And so that I was a survivor, and that I hope that I did inspire people like the person who sent you email from Nebraska, that even in spite of your depression or the weight problem, and I also have multiple sclerosis, so I have been unable to walk. I've been blind twice. And so I think that I would want people to just persevere, to keep going through every heartache, through every disappointment, through every setback. You gotta have a hope, and you gotta want to move forward, even if everything is not working in your life. You know what I'm saying? Even if everything is not perfect, even if everything is not close to being perfect, even if your family is not there for you, friends, you don't have any friends, whatever, you have a purpose for being on earth. And through moving forward, a lot of things begin to come to you, moving forward. if I'm past this interview, if I'm a day or if I'm many years, if I go on to live to be 71, 81, I think I would like to do more work with people, I guess not just with mental health, but more so of helping them just find their purpose in life, period.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Just because the pandemic also taught us that one thing that we thought we were good at to do, those jobs disappeared,
That's
or
right.
that all changed, you
That's
know?
right.
And I even had the fear for myself because I was kind of like, okay, so we're not doing concerts or anything right now. And I was like, okay, Jennifer Holliday, what else can you do? What can
Hey,
you do? You can't
right.
cook. You can't. What can you do? What can you do? You
Right.
know? And so I think that maybe we can, how do I help people realize not full potential, but new potentials. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
what would be your second and third career choice, and how do we develop that? You know, and I
Mhm.
think that that's something else the pandemic taught us as well. It was like, okay, so you can't do what you used to do, and then when even if we come out of the pandemic, a lot of people found that what was working before didn't work afterwards. You'd have to put a new way of doing it, or
Right.
restaurants online, or like I'm here in New York, they've got different kind of things with their restaurant. They've set up little things where the things are out in the street. So the restaurant now extends to a little cute thing out in a little trailer out in the street where they can have more people spaced out, for
Right.
distance and things. So it's a lot of new ways that we can look at our old career, or we can look forward, to a new career. So I think that that's something that I would like to leave as a legacy, not just my music. And of course, I want to record more and more new music, in my latter years, and learn new music, new styles of music, or all of that. I'm very impressed with all of that. So I want to continue to do that, of course. But I think if if God willing, and I have another 20 years, I think I would like to use that uh, to bring that out of people, that
Yeah.
they get to realize new
Therefore,
potential,
potential.
new
Right.
purpose. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
like that. I like that. Are we getting a full project, or we getting a
Well,
full?
right now we're not getting a full project. The young man who produced and started the co-writer of the song, Terrell Says, and the other songwriter, David Farmer, and so they when we decided to do the song and to release it, I don't know, we didn't think that far. We just thought, okay, this might work, the timing might be right
Mhm.
for this. So I don't know what the future holds, or if we'll finish some other music, or if someone else will come to me and they have some new music or some ideas and stuff. So I'm really open. Like I said, I'm open to the universe, and not keeping an open mind, and trying to be present, and in the moment. So I think that eventually there will be a whole project. I don't have any plans for that, but you know, I'm
You open.
yes, I'm open.
Definitely. June 9th, you'll be returning back on the Broadway stage in Chicago as Mama Martin.
Yes.
Really, really excited about that. We got the new single out right now, streaming on all music platforms right now as well, along with the video that's out as well. Super
On
excited
YouTube.
about that on
Uh-huh.
YouTube. We're not gonna get the Jennifer Holliday book anytime
Not
soon.
not anytime soon, but I have been thinking about that. And also on July 8th is my first gonna be my first movie
Oh
role,
yeah.
non-singing. And it's an independent film called The Road to Galena. And it's gonna come out worldwide on streaming in a few select theaters. So I'm excited about that
Congratulations.
because yeah, because even though I have done the music for a lot of films and off camera, this will be the first time being on camera with an actual scene. It's a small role, but hopefully, that will lead to more things. And I have been thinking about a book, uh, not so much where it would be totally biographical, but just like I was telling you, I want to make sure that I'm able to help people
Mm.
realize their full potential. So I think that if I can make it um, where I'm telling about my life, but then also where it inspires people to do things that apply to their life and their career as well. So I have been thinking about that.
I think that'll be absolutely amazing and a bestseller. Yeah,
Thank you.
so much to give. And like you said, tapping into those other lanes. Um, I just think that it's a no-brainer. You know what
Thank
I
you.
mean? You want to give it, let's give it. You know what
Thank
I
you.
mean? Yeah, absolutely. Um, I gotta thank you so much. Any shout outs to anybody? You want to give some flowers out to anybody? Your loved ones, family, your support team, your fans. Any flowers you want to shout out anybody before we close?
Well, I do. I'm a fellow Texan, and of course, we're all our hearts are broken. For the 19 children and the two
Absolutely.
teachers who lost their lives to gun violence. Also, the 10 seniors of Buffalo, who lost their lives to gun violence, and to all my family there in Houston, Texas, and Dallas as well, who's also uh, been good to me. I don't know if you're familiar with T-Ball, there.
Yeah.
Uh, they have always been supportive of me, Curtis King and T-Ball. So I thank Texas for the love and support that they have continued to give me, even though I no longer live there and haven't lived there in a while, but I still feel like a yellow rose of Texas. And Loretta Devine is from Houston, Texas, and a fellow, my fellow original dream girl. And of course, I love Yolanda Adams, who
Oh yeah.
she just, I don't know. I don't know if you've ever met her.
I
And
never met her.
yeah, and she's not like, I'm not gonna sit up here and lie and try to say like she's like my best friend or anything like that. But I'm just saying that she just encourages us all, just she'll just write a note, or she'll send a text, or she will say something on Instagram. So I just love Texas and thank them for uh their love. And it's I'm very proud.
Absolutely. Now you're gonna have to come back on here again. You do the Vibe show. You're a part of the Vibe family now. You have our support 110%. We
Thank
love you so much. Let's put the social platforms out there too in ways that people can actually connect with you.
Great. So I'm on Instagram, and that's Jennifer Holliday Dreamgirl. Holiday spelled with two L's. I'm on Twitter, Lady J Holiday. And then Facebook is just Jennifer Holliday. Uh, uh, the YouTube channel is Jennifer Holliday 1. And then there's Spotify, Jennifer Holliday Dreamgirl, and there's Pandora, there's iTunes. So
all of the streaming platforms.
all the streaming platforms. So I'm hoping to get better for it. I have not done TikTok yet, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do to get on that. So I'm trying to come up with something really, good for that, to make my entrance into TikTok. But my name there is Jennifer Holliday Dreamgirl too, even though I haven't entered on there yet.
Absolutely. Listen, this has really been a blessing for me on a personal level. And I just want to tell you that, I love you so much.
Thank you.
So proud of you. And I'm wishing you more blessings and more success for me and the entire team. And I want to give a big shout out to Jay Ross as well.
Yes.
Really for making this connection. Really, really good brother there. So
he really is. He really helped to, get that record out there, and in Europe too. He's very knowledgeable in that market as well. So he has really been a great sponsor. So yay, Jay Ross! Thank you, love you.
Absolutely. Shout out to all of the people on the live on the airwaves that's listening. We definitely want to give a big shout out to y'all. I want to thank everybody for all of the love and all of the support from Miss Holliday as well. It has definitely been amazing. You guys make sure that y'all go and stream the new single right now. It's out on all music platforms right now. So in Love, as well as running that video up too. It's on YouTube right now. If you haven't heard it, please go and tap in and check it out.
And the thing about the YouTube version is that it's a little bit longer. So therefore you can enjoy the song. So it has 2 different versions. So you can be interested to see, if you can pick out what I added. I added a little something to it, to the video.
That? And added something extra. I put a little extra strawberry on there.
I did.
Y'all need to make sure that y'all go and tap in, get plugged in. It's the one and only, the queen to me, Miss Jennifer Holliday. Love you so much. Can't wait to get you back on here again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vibe audience. Thank you, Texas. Love you.
Love y'all so much. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. If you are not subscribed to the Vibe Show 97.9, please hit that subscribe button. Turn on those bell notifications for more exclusive interviews coming up. Y'all know my slogan, more love, less hate makes the world a better place. Me and the queen, Miss Jennifer Holliday. We are out. Love y'all. Enjoy y'all Sunday.